primarily to New York or through New York to get to the rest of the country because they wanted to start their lives over. I mean, people left their families, whatever little valuables they had, to start anew. And I think that's the beauty of New York in particular, the beauty of the United States, that there really is a lot of opportunity. But it's not easy. I mean, people either are fortunate with opportunity given to them, other people have to create that opportunity. But the story of America is one built on people really pursuing their dreams. And, you know, my parents came here with nothing. They met here, actually. My father worked as a waiter his entire life, till pretty much the day he passed away. And my mom worked as a seamstress most of the time. And then the other part of her time was obviously spent as a mom and a housewife. And my father wasn't around much. He was working crazy hours, so it was really my mom raising me. I had two older sisters. But she taught me valuable lessons, some of which I'd like to impart with you guys, and I'm sure you're living a lot of the same lessons that I was learning when I was younger. One was that, you know, notwithstanding what my current circumstances were in life, that I should always dream big. I should always aspire to do great things. That the only limit to what I could actually accomplish was whatever I was limiting myself with, meaning I can create my future, I can pursue my stuff, and things will happen over time. Partner at a company called Aurify Brands. And Aurify Brands is a business that looks to build businesses. So we have more than one company we're growing right now. We either start the businesses from scratch or we'll acquire a business. All the businesses that we pursue have certain things in common. We like businesses where there's a strong brand. So the brand has to speak to the consumer. There has to be something interesting or compelling or exciting about the brand for us to get interested in that opportunity. And if we are interested in the opportunity, then we look at the economics of it. It may be fun, but can we make money doing it? Can we get investors to put money into a deal to help us build that business? So we have a list of criteria we look at when we look at different opportunities. The one I want to focus on with you guys tonight in particular is Five Guys, most of you people. The lessons of Five Guys are transferable to every business, because every business is pretty much the same thing. Either you're selling a good or a service, you have to create that good or service, you have customers on the other side, you have to satisfy your customers, make it a good experience. That applies to everything. So burgers happen to be the product we're selling, but the business we're building is independent in a way of the burger. For us to be successful, it's not just about the product, it's the entire process. It's the entire company, it's the entire culture that we create. So it's much bigger than it is to just say, okay, let's open up a burger joint, which you could do. But whether or not it's successful in the ways we measure success is a whole different question. We came across the brand in 2007 when Andy and I were spending time in Maryland on a different project, and we went to Five Guys and we loved it. And we said, you know what, this thing would do really well in Manhattan. So we called the franchisor and said, we'd like to buy the exclusive development rights for Manhattan. So what does that mean? Well, the franchisor says, fine, but you have to commit to opening up 30 locations on the island over the next 8 years. Are you prepared to do that? And that's a big economic commitment, right? One, we don't even know if it's going to work. So we structured a deal that gave us a little flexibility, but ultimately, that was the bargain. That was the arrangement we were walking into, and we said, yes, we'll do that. Now we said, okay, how are we going to pay for this? Because it's very expensive to buy the rights, just to give you a sense. And let's work with 20 as the store number rather than 30, because there's a particular reason why it's 30 and not 20. But we initially agreed to develop 20 locations in 6 years' time with them. And they said, okay, well, the island of Manhattan is a very valuable island. We want you to pay us $55,000 per store just to have the right to open the stores. That's $1.1 million, okay? $1.1 million. So there's your $1 million. That's one use of the money. Well, Andy and I didn't have $1.1 million just sitting around, so we went to investors and said, we think this is a great opportunity. We need to raise a few $1 million. Everybody put in as much money as you can. And obviously, we went to people that had capital that they were willing to invest. And with that money, we went back to corporate and said, okay, here's your money. And we paid them not the full 1.1, we paid them 50%. So we paid them $550,000 up front. And then we had to go build stores now. So, and every time we opened a store, we paid them a little bit more. And that's how we got to the $1.1 million in total once we've opened all our stores. Anyway, in 2007, Andy and I raised a little over $2 million. We used $500 of it roughly to buy the rights. Then we had $1.5 million left to start building stores. We built our first location on 55th Street, the second one on Bleecker, and the third in LaGuardia. The $1.5 million we raised, that wasn't even enough to open all those stores. We had to borrow another $1 million. So we went to the banks, we raised money. Before you know it, we had another $1 million plus the $2 million we raised, $3 million at our disposal, and we spent it all. Within 6 months, it was all gone, and now we have these 3 stores. Now, how are we determining if the stores are running well or not? The truth is, it's been a very difficult process because you have to train the staff. You have to get people to really buy into the concept and believe it makes sense. Early on, we had a team of people that weren't even at the store level, right? We had a VP of operations who we had to pay a lot of money to run the business. We had an accountant. We had other people, rent for our office. So it was a very stressful time trying to generate as much cash flow from those stores in order to build the business. So, you know, friends of mine are like, wow, you must be doing great. You got 3 restaurants. It's a great concept. People love it. You know, you must be making a lot of money. And I'm like, well, on the contrary, we're not. We're losing a lot of money. We need to grow. And this is, you know, one of those questions that people often face when they're looking at these different business opportunities. It's like, am I better off owning one place and just running it myself and making as much as possible, or do I want to go bigger? And our plan was we want to go bigger, but there's a lot more risk in that, and you also have to build a much bigger team to be able to grow this thing big. Okay. By the way, again, feel free to, if you have any questions, you want to elaborate on anything, just ask. So we have our 3 restaurants. They're chugging along, but you know, they're not doing great. 50/50 Street was making money. Bleecker was kind of making a little money, but LaGuardia was losing money. So what do? We buckled down. We focused. You know, we started really focusing on our people because we realized the better our people are, the happier our people are, the more committed they are to the company, the more beneficial it'll be to everybody. So we really made a focus on investing in our people and not looking at payroll as an expense, but as an investment in the company. And it really changed our mindset. Rather than looking at, okay, I need people to just run the business, we started looking at, we need partners to help grow the business, to really take a sense of ownership. And that thinking really had a transformative effect on the company because it became more than just making money, it became about building a business. And I think, you know, one thing we really strive for is to make sure that, and it doesn't always work, by the way, this is a big challenge. We want people to feel like there's opportunity here, that there's places to grow with Five Guys, that we're going to be opening more stores, that we need to develop our people so they can take on more responsibilities. And we've really employed that approach to developing our teams. And some of you probably know this firsthand. I mean, even this program is an offshoot of, we have great people in our organization. How do we give them an opportunity to do more, to realize their full potential? And that logic applies to all of our companies. So let's focus on one Five Guys. Forget about the company that we're developing a lot of stores. What if we just wanted to raise money to open up one store? And maybe that'll kind of answer that question too. To open one Five Guys, anybody have an idea how much it costs? What would you guess? Please. 700? Okay, $1 million. So far, we're opening our 8th store this week, hopefully. The total investment has ranged between a low of around $650,000 to almost $1 million. So let's just say 750 is the number. It's the number I tell investors. In order for me to go to investors and say, I need $750,000, do you want to invest? They'll say, what are you putting in it? That's always the question. What's your risk? Do you have skin in the game? And there are many answers. And our answer is no, not anymore, because I've already did all the risky stuff. I've already put everything on the line. I've already signed on the loans. So today when I raise money for Five Guys, I'm not putting anything else in. I already put in all the blood, sweat, and tears that I have for the last few years. So now that's what I have in this. I've invested my life to make this happen. So do you want to invest? And they'll say, okay, I'll put up $375,000, half of the $750,000. What do they get for that? I would say you're going to get your money back when we're making money. I'm going to pay you back your $375,000, and you'll own 25% of the company. So in the future, if the company makes, just use a round number, and we'll talk store level economics in a second, if the company makes $300,000 a year of profits, well, I'll give you the first $375,000. So it'll take a little over a year to get you your money back. Now you have $375,000, and then you'll